my gosh. Hi, everybody. I just want to say real quick, do you wish that you could be seen in this amazing sea of Facebook likes and Instagram things and all of the social media swimming pool of fish, right? How do you be seen and how do you feel into that fear of bridging that gap and getting out there and being seen? Gosh, we're all in that boat, right? And how do you not quit? Well, guess what? Today on the Perspective Shifters, we have an amazing woman with us today. Her name is Dani. We're going to be talking about her really in depth here in just a second. But this is the Perspective Shifters, and we bring forward really hot topics and pain points for those of us out there in this world, and we talk about them and we bring them real and we bring a training around that. So that's what the Perspective Shifters is. My name's Erin Strayer. I am a business coach and a strategic growth consultant, and I get you clear focus, program alignment, and optimize yourself. Much like my good friend Dani here. Hi, Dani. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so excited to have you on board with me. And we already got some people coming on. So if you're joining us, people, we want you to say hi. Let us know that you're out there. We'll give you a little shout out. And by all means, if this video is of relevance to you, your C-suite, your team of people that sit in your cubicle, your team of people that you deal with, any of your clients, man, make sure you pass this on and share this video, because we're going to bring some awesome stuff forward for you. We already got Sean here with us. She's like, I have no fear when it comes to social media. And she's like, hi, no. Yeah, it's like she's across the big pond. It's like nighttime for her. She's getting ready to go to bed. But we're super happy you're here with us, Sean. Yeah, so Dani, let's talk about you for a minute, honey. Other than you're fabulously beautiful, and I'm super excited, you also are a business and strategy coach, which I love. I love bringing other people on that do similar things to me, because everybody's got their own lane, and I love that. But you specialize in making sure our voices get heard, right?
Yes,
and
like true.
Get out there and then make money from that.
Yeah, exactly. One of my big things is making money doing what you love and being who you are. Because I feel like in a sea of the online space, everyone can probably relate to this, that it feels like any industry that you're in, if you're working online, is oversaturated. And I kind of call BS on that, because I strongly believe that if you are being yourself and you're using your voice and you're using your specific talents, like, you cannot be just another face in the crowd. Like, there's no way. It's oversaturated by people who are really there just to follow what other people are doing and hope to be successful. But it's truly when we show up as ourselves that's where the success comes from.
I agree 100%. And, most of us know the statistics. There's 6 billion people out there, and there's no way you and I can service all of them, even though that'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? There's nobody like you. There's nobody like Sean. There's nobody like me. You know what I mean? And there's enough to go around, right? There's enough for everybody out there. Yeah. And so, yeah, being yourself, being authentic, being in that space that's just you is just, yeah. So how do you come up and out of the calling the BS on that? How do you?
Well, okay, so I went to school for theater since I was 8 years old. And I always compare it back to theater, because when you start theater, they tell you everything not to do. They tell you to stop talking fast, or tell me to stop talking fast. Right. Or they say, you got to put your hands down. You can't use your hands to speak. You can't do this. For the longest time, I got a lot of crap thrown at me for having a Canadian accent. Well, I'm Canadian. And so when you are going into the film industry, when you're going into the film industry, they want you to have an American accent. Well, that was so hard, even though I worked on dialect. It was so hard for me to fit into this, what people needed from me, or that you couldn't dye your hair, you couldn't get tattoos. And there's so many things that when you are put into that so young, like I started theater at 8 years old, you're told that every single, and I did it all the way up through university, and then I taught it. And so you're kind of taught that every little quirk of you needs to be kind of simmered down in order to be a neutral playing field to take on all these other characters. But what happens at that point is that you walk into an audition room and now your only purpose is to try to please those people who are standing behind a desk who might even have decided that you're not right because they don't like the color of your eyebrows or something so simple like that. And they have thrown like your $400 headshot onto the ground already. And they're like, you don't like her. And so I felt so stuck in a box. And you notice because I did teach, you notice the people who've done theater for so long is that every single quirk of them, the minute that they go up in front to like share anything, where it's public speaking or whether they're trying to portray a character or whatever, they are like this blank slate of just another face in the crowd and they just blend in. Well, you're teaching people to blend in. And so you'll notice the people who come out and they've never had acting training and they've never had someone to tell them what not to do. And they are so unique and they are so just rich with little quirks and things that make them unique that you latch onto and you're like, I love that person because exactly who they are is so different from anyone else that I have seen. And you can see someone's heart and soul and you'll fall in love with that. You're not going to fall in love with a neutral blank slate. You're going to fall in love with that. And so I've kind of brought that through after teaching people how to get back those quirks and teaching people how to kind of cut off the fat of the steak and like truly get into the meat of who they are. And I've taught that for so long in theater that it transitions so naturally in business because I saw everyone doing the same thing. And it's like, no, there's a reason why you're way better at communicating face-to-face than you are at writing, or why you're so much better at writing your feelings than you are going on video. Like everything makes you unique. And when you follow that and you build strategies based on what you are naturally good at, the success flows.
Isn't that the truth? I know Sean is like the cookie cutter syndrome, and that's what it seems like. They were trying to fit into the box, right? Well, what good does that do?
Exactly.
Especially in this that we're now in, it's like the box doesn't fit anymore, people. It's like you've got to be out there and yeah, get your quirky little self out there and all your eyebrows and everything. I mean, that's crazy that they like dogged it for your eyebrows.
They like little things like that, or they're like, oh yeah, her eye shape's not right, or like this is her body, like her body. It gets so specific, and it's kind of ridiculous, but it serves its own purpose in the industry. But it's just you have to break out of that. It's the same thing with society. It transitions with that. You might have been told that you were too loud when you were little. You might be told to kind of dumb yourself down because you're too smart, and that intimidates people, or whatever it is, whatever story that you ended up carrying with you. It's time to drop that to the side so you can build a successful business and get paid for being who you are, because that's why you're here on this earth, is to share who you are. And in this online space where everyone is trying to be something or trying to show their highlight reel or trying to pretend that they are more successful than they are, or trying to pretend that they're more this than they are, people are craving honesty and people are craving someone who's unique and craving connection. And that's what you need to bring to the table if you want to have a service-based business that grows.
Yeah. And don't you find too that it's all that racket, like for me, it's sit in the right spot in the porch and make sure that your hair is brushed and your teeth are brushed and your legs are together and you don't act up and you know what I mean? Like all of these little things. Are your clothes pressed exactly right? Like that racket, right? That I can remember from little itty bitty that, here almost 50 years later is coming forward, right? It's still there. It's still yapping at me. And you need to be seen and not heard. Well, try telling me to shut up. Exactly. And I've gotten told so many times where it's like, you can't be that loud, or you can't swear, or you can't do this, or you can't have tattoos, or you can't show your tattoos, or like anything like that. And it's like, no, that's part of who I am. That's part of my business too. Like you'll go to my website or whatever, and it's 100% unfiltered Danielle. Like you show up and you're like, holy, this is like, I feel like I'm in your soul. Like, and that's what I want. I want to be the same person online that I am in person. I want people to be able to walk up to me on the street and still feel like they can speak to me, and I'll be the same person that I am online, because
they're going to want to work with me because I'm the same person, not because I have these really beautiful headshots, but online, or like online, I have this presence online, but in person, I am like a whole different person.
Yeah.
Right? They want to work with the person that they see online.
Yeah, that split personality anymore isn't working for people. And, you know, once they give you their credit card and then they figure out that you're somebody else, isn't working anymore. You know what I mean? Or that you're not delivering what you said you were going to deliver. Yeah. I'm just reading Sean's comments here. My first teacher told us, be seen and not heard. And one of my jobs, I was to cover up my tattoos. So, yeah.
Yeah. And that's like, I was told to take my piercings out or cover my tattoos, or that I wasn't allowed to. I remember very distinctly one time I was in a show, and I have a tattoo that I've had since I was 18 years old. That was like, my mom's like, you can't have anything until you're 18. So on my 18th birthday, I go and I get this tattoo. And it says, beauty is imperfection and madness is genius. And it's Marilyn Monroe. And so it's across my back. And I was in university at the time for theater, and I got reamed out by a professor telling me that I won't be successful because all of a sudden I have this hideous thing on my back. Well, I was like, no, like, I don't believe that at all. And so, and I still taught in schools, and I still taught, and I have all my tattoos in places that I can cover up if I want to. Like, I did makeup artistry. I know how to cover it if I need to, but I stopped wanting to hide. Like, I was like, I'm not hiding anymore. I can be successful in my own right. And now I have professors who used to teach me who like come up to me and they're like, I can't believe what you've done with your degree. Like, that's so cool. And now I'm going to go speak at the university to business students, and I'm going to be partnering with like some other clubs on the university. The university that I went to that I got told that I would never be successful at, now I'm going back to share that with others. And it's like, yeah, you need to know that it's okay to be yourself, and it's okay to break the rules.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where it's huge, isn't it? Right? And that once you and I talked about this, and it was just, I remember writing it down to be bold enough to break the rules. Was one of the things that you said to me, and I'm like, brilliant.
Yeah. You have to be. You have to be. And that's the thing is, like, even when I started my business, everyone told me to get an email list. I'm like, well, that's not what I want to do, so I'm not going to do that. Like, everyone said, oh my gosh, like, this is how you are. This little checklist is exactly what you need to start a business. And it's like, I looked at it and I thought, well, that's not going to touch on my strengths. That's not going to help me out. That's not going to work with me. Like, no, I'm going to do this my own way. And that's where people see that and they're like, oh, wait, you didn't do that when you first started? And I'm like, no, because it's not. These little checklists are tools. I always teach this to my clients, my students, and everything. These little checklists are tools. They're tools to say, hey, here's some things that you can do to make your life a little bit easier. Now, what are you really good at and what can you leverage? It's not like this or nothing. And that's where I feel like people get stuck trying to watch these webinars that are like, get 100K in one day by doing this or something like that. And they're not leaving room for inspired action, and they're not leaving room to grow authentically.
I love that. And it's true. And it's true because we don't all fit. Pinterest isn't my gig.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
You know what I mean? Instagram isn't my gig. It's just not. It is so many other people's, and that's brilliant, and that's a lane, but it's like, man, my tribe's right here, and this is where I'm going to stay. Same kind of thing. It's like, and I don't have time to do all that, and I know there's tools to help me with that. But you know what I mean? Like, find, I'm like you too. Find what works for you, whether it's on the list or not, and do it. Yeah. That's like I remember my first major launch or whatever that I hired a coach for that launch specifically. And it was like my first like 8K launch. It was so crazy. I was like, I can't believe this happened. And the first thing that I said is, I want to do a summit. And everyone was like, Danielle, don't do a summit. And I said, why? And they're like, well, summits don't work. Like, all this stuff, like, like interviewing other people are going to get bored, like all this stuff. And I was like, no, I really want to do a summit. But for me, it wasn't because I heard this word summit and all of a sudden it was like summit equals success. For me, it was because I wanted to share all these people's stories and prove to the people who are going to take this course. It was my passion paycheck
course, at the time, and to prove to them that you can be whatever kind of CEO you want to be. And that was why it was so successful. And I remember we got like 300 people to come on board just for that summit. And it was so cool. And I got so many questions and people were so interested and people were like asking all these questions. And even days after the summit stopped, people were like, where's that video? Like, can you tag me in that? Like, it was super cool. And so if I would have listened to people telling me like, Danielle, it's not going to work. Danielle, it's been done too many times. Like this, it's not going to be the thing that's going to get you what you want. If I listened to that instead of listening to my gut that was telling me, you know, I'm really good at talking to people. I'm really good at connecting and I'm really good at being unfiltered and just sharing my heart. I want to do this. I'm going to do this. If I didn't listen to that, it wouldn't have been what it was.
Yeah. Isn't that brilliant? That was my first out too, at the summit. And quite honestly, it's why I do this platform too, is because I so much love talking to people and I love what they do and I love being able to share that. And so same with you, this works for me and this fills me up and it makes me happy, and why should I quit?
Yeah, like that's the thing, is that it doesn't matter what the experts say. I always say that, even though like I'm an expert or whatever, but I'm like, don't listen to the experts. If the experts tell you to do something because it's going to make you successful, that's because they've tried it and it worked for them. But that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. It just means it's another tool. I'll straight up tell the people that I work with, yeah, I really love this. It worked for me. It might not work for you. Or I'll say, you know what? Someone taught me this one time. I didn't use it because it doesn't, like, I will be very forward in saying this worked or this didn't, or I've tried this or I haven't. And I say, someone taught me this one time and it didn't really click with me, so I didn't try it, but maybe you want to try it and maybe it'll work for you. So I didn't do it personally, but if you want to try it, do it.
Yeah. So along with those things, when you're talking to your people, a lot of times those are pretty scary things to embark on, right? If they've never done them before, or man, that first summit you didn't know how to do it. Did you have the checklist, right?
I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah. So how do you have like little things to push through that, feel through that, right?
Yeah. And a lot of people are going to say, well, how do I fight the fear? How do I fight the fear? How do I get past the fear? It's scary. I don't know if I should do this. But I strongly believe it's not about fighting the fear. It's about doing it scared. It's about owning the fear and saying, you know what? Like, this scares me. Live video still scares me. I still have stage fright, which is crazy because I did theater for years. As I still have stage fright. I still get that initial jitters. My back sweats profusely on Facebook Live all the time. But it's like you have to own it. And you just have to do it because it's less about you showing up and looking like an idiot, and it's more about you showing up for the people who need your work in their life. That's what you
brilliant.
Focus on.
I love that tagline, to own it.
Yeah.
Recognize it and do the shit anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
I build your business scared shitless. Like, that's what I did. I didn't build it because it was easy. I built it scared shitless and I pulled stuff out of my butt and I just did it. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm okay if I have spelling mistakes, or I'm okay. It got messy, but it was beautiful.
Yeah. So sticking on that topic for a second, if nobody does anything, they're never going to be seen.
Exactly. I posted in so many groups where I was like, these women are like years ahead of me and I'm so scared. But I just started positioning myself as an expert and not assuming everyone's going to disagree with me. You know what I mean? Like, we assume, because we see all these horror stories on social media, we assume that if we share something that our heart and soul is into and it's our personal opinion, not something that someone spoon fed us, that all of a sudden the world is going to blow up and everyone's going to backlash and like they're going to be like, who are you to say this? But it doesn't happen that way.
Right.
Yeah, you own it and you do it scared, and you might get once in a while, like I've got some hater comments, but it's like, it doesn't matter what they say. It matters about the people who you shift. That's what matters.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing that I've discovered lately too is that I need the haters, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about them for a second, because when you've arrived when you get them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. And then the other thing that I've recently realized is somehow whatever I'm doing is triggering them.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a trigger for them. And it's like, oh, that's like massive flattery that.
Yeah, exactly. Because if someone, I remember one of my very first hater comments was on this video that was like, when you find, like, stop seeking your one passion and just like play with your passions and see what really lights you up and like lead with joy. And someone posted underneath who I didn't know and called me the C word, like crazy. I was like, okay, but it was so funny to me. And let me tell you why I laughed and did not cry at this. I was like, but did you watch the video? Like I'm talking about you being happy, but clearly you're not happy. So clearly you didn't watch the video. So that's okay. And I just like deleted the comment and whatever, but it'll happen no matter what. People will try to tear you down and not even be focused on your work. And so that's why you're like, with that moment, I could have been like, oh my God, maybe I won't post anymore. Maybe I won't do this anymore. Like, I can't believe this is happening to me. And it happened a couple times with the same person. And I just blocked them. And it was like, you aren't invested in my work. You're literally posting comments that make no sense, that aren't even like directed at, like, one of them was making fun of my blush color. And I'm like, why is this apparent in your life? I'm like, why does this matter? So I just deleted it. And I'm like, you don't care about the actual content and you didn't even take time to focus on it. So I'm not focusing on you. Like, delete and forgive and goodbye.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm. So that shift that comes with that and staying in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. Cause that shifty stuff can get a little wonky sometimes, you know, and that transition, right? Can get a little scary. It can get a little, you can pull your little pretendy things on. You can go hide somewhere.
Yes. And I would say one of the biggest things and one of the biggest reasons why I haven't quit is because I have a really good tribe of people who are supporting me. And that's one of the most important things, is that find people, and it doesn't have to be someone who's like directly related to you. So a lot of people get really down on themselves because maybe their family's not supportive, or maybe their significant other isn't supportive, or maybe their best friend isn't supportive. Like, whatever. I've gotten a lot of like crap from the people who I love the most, but it's because they're trying to protect me. And so instead of tapping into them, when I have these massive goals that would probably knock their socks off, I instead go to the people who get it, or I instead go to the people who will support me no matter what, like my biz besties. And one of the best places to find biz besties is literally just sharing your stuff online, and people will latch onto that and say, oh my God, I didn't know you had this experience. Let's talk about this. And those connections are just so beautiful. And now I know that if someone calls me out on Facebook or something crazy happens, because it will happen, it's inevitable. And it's just owning it and being like, that happened, pushing through any insecurities that brings up, noting that in yourself, like, oh, that triggered me in this way, this way, and this way. Well, does that mean that what they said is true? Well, like, no, it doesn't. So pushing that to the side and tapping into your tribe.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Sean said her online tribe is what keeps her going. Yeah. We're the same. I feel 100% the same way as you do, Dani. And it's like, man, if I didn't have some of my online resource, mentor, biz besties, right? Because not all of us are fortunate enough to have a biz bestie that really has your back, that just lives, you can go have coffee with them whenever you want. Most of us don't have that person available, or we have girlfriends, but we don't necessarily talk to them about business, right? So
if they're not in the online space, they don't get it. Like, I always talk about my mom. It's just so funny. So I hired her as my bookkeeper because she does bookkeeping. So up until the point where she had to physically go through all my stuff. She had no idea what I did. She was like, Danielle just like talks to people online, and like had no idea what I was doing. And she was so confused about how I made money. She was so confused about how I did anything. And I didn't let that bug me, because I had a mentor who I could talk to about it. I had other people who could talk to about it. Like, one of my biz besties is in Florida, and like one of them is in Vancouver, and they're far away from me. But I knew that I could talk to them about it. So I didn't think a lot about that. My mom just doesn't get it. Sometimes it would scare her to hear some of my goals, or see how much I was making, or see
Right.
like the behind the scenes and be like, I don't understand. What is this like recurring payment? I'm like, that's for a course. I don't get it. How does this work? What is like, because she doesn't even have Facebook. She doesn't know how any of this works. So it's so funny. And people come up to her where she works like full time and be like, oh my God, you got to watch Danielle's videos. And she's like, I don't know what she does. And like, that's okay. And it's having those people that it's okay. Like, that's just someone who you might not share everything with. And that's okay. They can't be everything to you. You have to reach out. And my first biz bestie was my mentor because I didn't know anyone. And now some people have found me just in connections of me sharing my stuff or being on things like this, or where they reach out and they make that connection. All of a sudden, like, they're yours for life. Like, it's awesome.
Right. You know, and quite honestly, that's how we find our people too, right? Like when you go and you interact in different people's groups and you comment and you give value to somebody else's question, right? And that starts the interaction and the connection. And, you know, it's when those intersections make magic, that's when it's like, it just starts snapping and you're like, I need to talk to my girl. Where's my girl? Hey, right now I need a coffee. Right?
Exactly.
It's like bounce stuff around but until that, you know, until you have made that shift, as you call it, right? That you know, finding that safety zone or you know, making sure that you're authentic while you get there is
and not being afraid to ask questions too in the groups. I found one of my biz besties, Claire. Like, I love her so much. I come to her for all things tech because I'm not a tech person. So I remember posting in one of the groups, and it was so scary for me because I'm like, all these people are gonna think that I don't know what I'm doing. So I posted anyways, and I was like, I'm building my website, and I'm kind of feeling like crying right now because I don't understand how to go from GoDaddy to WordPress. And I was like freaking out, and I'm like, I need someone to talk me through this because I feel like I'm gonna cry or break my website. And the first person not only commented, she was like, hold on, I'll direct message you. Messages me, and she's like, do you want to just hop on a Zoom call and I can just walk you through it? Like, what are you dealing with? And I was like, what? First thing is like fear, because I'm like, oh my God, number one, is she going to charge me for this? Number two, what's going on, like, on her end? Like, what's her intention with this? Like, all these things that go through her head when we work online. And then I got on a call with her, and she was like just hanging out with her dog and being like, so what are you dealing with? Like, and she was so sweet. And now at any point, she'll come to me for anything like spiritual, woo-woo. She's like, I don't understand. Everyone keeps telling me that I have a block. What is a block? Like, what does that mean? And like, I'll come to her and be like, I don't understand how to like share this to my website. Like, it's so funny. And anything in between. And so we're just such great supports for each other. But that all came from me not being scared to ask a question that was really scary and might, on some levels, make me seem like a hot mess entrepreneur, which I know I am. But to like reveal that to people. We all like, we're all figuring that out as we go. Exactly. And so not being afraid to be like, well, this might make me seem like I don't know what I'm doing. But when you post that, people see your strengths and they see your weaknesses, and they love you for both. Yeah, because that's back to, right, you know, when we got kicked off today, is being yourself, right? And you got to show up authentic, whether you're scared or you know, it's right in your lane of what you're talking about. So yeah, the computer stuff scares the heck out of me too. And hey, let's put it out there and let's talk about it. You know? But yeah, that's super scary, you know, and it's vulnerable too, right? It's so vulnerable because you're looking at these people who you think of as mentors because they're posting in these groups. And this is like when I was a very beginner. So I'm like, I don't know when I'm allowed to post in these groups. Like, I didn't know anything yet. So just being open to be like, I'm just going to ask, and if it gets deleted, it gets deleted. Like, we'll see what happens, but I know I need help. And that's, like, Facebook groups are such good places to ask questions because there's going to be like 2,000 people in a Facebook group, and you know one of those people is probably a pro at what you need to learn or what you were doing. Yeah. I know that's where I go a lot for. I outsource a lot for a lot of my clients, and sometimes I don't have the right fit in my docket already, you know, in my list of people that I need to do that thing. And so I'll go into groups and I'll just, hey, I'm looking for somebody that can do X, Y, Z.
any references, you know, and it's amazing the outpouring that comes back, and it's just like, cool. Now I start talking to these people, and look at how cool people are. People are cool.
Right? Even in my own personal Facebook group, everyone was like, why are you posting your own personal Facebook group to like get a virtual assistant? Because it's like my first time officially outsourcing other than my mom. So I was like, because I want someone who knows my work, and want someone who's going to know kind of my vibe and know if they click with me or not. But also I have 800 plus people in here. So like one of those people are going to be my people. And I found one of those people, and I was like, this is incredible. And it's so funny because one of my own mentors was the one who like challenged me to do that. And it was so scary at the time because I'm like, okay, so in front of this whole group of people who are here because I'm the expert, I'm going to share that I have no idea what I'm doing on some technology ends. And so that's nerve-wracking. But when I did it, so many people were like, Danielle, I love your brand. I'd love to support you in this way. And like, I had so many emails, and it was so hard to pick because all these rock star girls were like, I know you're good. Like, people were literally telling me, I know you're really good at this. I think you might need some support in these things. I would love to support you in this. Here's my credentials. And it was crazy. And I'm so thankful that I did it in my own group, even because these people know me enough that they're not going to judge. And it's so nice. It's so nice to have a tribe like that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Is that a closed group, Danielle? Is that just for your clients and things there?
It's a private group, but anyone can join. It's private just so like people can share whatever they want in there, but anyone can join.
Cool. How do people reach out to you? Is that where you want them to reach out to you?
Yeah, they can come hang out in the group. It's called the Boss Babe Vibe Tribe on Facebook.
I love that. Will you drop the link in when we're done? Will you drop the link in here? If you want to like hang out and troll on you and follow you some more?
Yeah, of course, they can come hang out. And they're more than welcome to message me. Like, of course, if they have any questions or anything, they can even tag me in this thread and ask me any questions if they want, and I'll come answer and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, and I know we talked a little bit before. Do you have anything coming up that you want to share at all?
Yes. Okay, I have some exciting things. I have my next level group program that I kind of closed down for a bit, but it's going to reopen before the end of the year. I have my Passion to Paycheck course that's always available on my website. That's a course for people who are just starting out, who might not know what their passion is, or might have like a subtle incline but want to build into business. So it's kind of like, here's all the tools and the energetic work and the strategy, which is really good. I have a tech person in that group too, which is Claire, my go-to tech person. So she can to troubleshoot if people have questions. And then I will be opening up some spots for one-on-one to work with people who want to do courses.
Perfect. Will you be kind enough to drop those links when we're done here?
Yes, of course.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And you guys, we've been talking with Dani all the way from Calgary this morning with us, and her brilliance, and talking about owning your own authentic self. And if this, again, I can't say it enough. So much awesome information in here about being authentic, being true to yourself, being visible, navigating the shift, right? Has been in this video. Please share it with your tribe, with your people, with your C-suite, with your cubicle of friends that need to know this information, whether you're online or not, because even if you're not in the online space, people, you really still even need, this is applicable to you. We super appreciate you guys being here. If you're watching the replay, you got questions, make sure to drop questions in the feed. We'll make sure to loop back around and answer those as we go. Dani, thank you so much for your time today, honey. I really appreciate being with you. Hang out with me just for a second before we end here. And everybody else, we'll see you right back here soon. Thanks for your time today. Bye-bye.